Hello and welcome. For those of you who do or don't know me, my name is Alethea. I am a reader, writer, and avid media consumer. I'm also an educator. I teach English language, grammar, and creative writing at a local learning center for kids with learning disabilities. Woo! That's a mouthful. So, today we are going to be discussing a very important topic, something that often gets overlooked when you're discussing the topic of how to write, and that's character. I know it might seem silly to say that's an ignored subject or an avoided subject or a not talked about subject, because character, of course, everyone talks about it. But no one really breaks it down in the way that I am going to try being the key word there, breaking it down. Now, this is a very complicated subject, and there's a lot of different opinions and schools of thought on it, so this is probably going to be a multi-part video. I know, I'm sorry. But I'm lazy, and I don't want to sit here for an hour and a half discussing a thing, and then have to edit that hour and a half video into like less than an hour and a half. I am lazy. For the most part, most of my videos are very unedited, and it's because, guess what? I'm lazy. So basically, character. Let's start with definitions. What are characters, and how do you know when someone or something is or is not a character? Well, simply defined, a character is something that the story focuses on or focals around. They typically have some type of personality and or have a character arc. For now, we're just going to base it down to what a character is. Now, when you think of a character, you typically think of like the main character of a story. You think of Harry Potter from Harry Potter. You think of Percy Jackson from Percy Jackson. Or Bilbo Baggins from The Hobbit. I mean, he was the Hobbit, so I guess that works. And you think of a humanoid, someone with a personality and a voice who has lines or does things in the story. But not all characters are humanoid or have voices or really do anything. Some characters are animals or plants or objects. Think of the monkey's hand from The Monkey's Paw. Is it Monkey's Paw? The Monkey's Paw. The one where you had the wishes and that one. That story traumatized me as a child. We had to read it for English class. I hated it so much. But that would be considered a character because it's an object with a personality, a mischievous personality, by the way. Be careful what you wish for. You could think of the rug from Aladdin. It had a personality and it contributed to the story. It was a side character, yes, but it was a character. Think of the turtle and the tortoise and the hare from The Tortoise and the Hare. They were animals, but they had personality and sometimes lines, and they contributed to the story. So they're not humanoids, but they're personified, and they did have contributions to the story. That's what a character is. My brother just sneezed, so I could hear him through my wall. And so that's generally what we're referring to. When I mention a character in this, I'm going to be referring to that generalization, but it can typically just refer to as like the main humanoid character, Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, So going back, characters. Important, right? What's almost as important as the character is the character. What does that mean? Well, the character, as in the person or object or whatever, and their character, as in their personality and behaviors, are equally, if not equally, important. I don't know why I said equally, if not equally, because I didn't think through things before they came out of my mouth. It's late at night and I'm very tired. So my brain is not working at 100% capacity today. Woo! These bangs, baby. So, yes, when I'm talking about characters, their personality, who they are, what drives them, is also important. Because if you have a character who's just a name and a face and a description, you've got a portrait, and that's about it. If your character doesn't do anything, if it doesn't have any personality, if it doesn't just anything, not really a character. It's a painting on a wall that you described with words. And sure, pictures can speak 1,000 words, but you can't waste 1,000 words on a picture. Okay? I mean, you could. Theoretically, you could write like some big prose paragraph about like portrait on the wall. It was beautiful, elegant. You could do that. That'd actually be a fun writing assignment. Can I assign homework? I'm gonna assign homework. Your homework for this week is to write like a prose sentence about a picture, a painting, or a portrait, and drop it in the comments. It has to be at least 1,000 characters long. That's right, you get homework for this. I'm so cool, I give you homework. I'm the best teacher. I'm sorry. Okay, characters. Why is their personality so important? Well, if they didn't have a personality, they're just a painting. She has no personality. She just stares at me. And, you know, you want your characters to have personality. You want people to like your characters. If your character's a brick, no one's really gonna like them. I don't think, at least. I don't know. Really depends on the brick, I guess. So how do you write a character and give them personality? How do you create a person of words? How do you build someone who feels like a real human being? Well, I don't have all the answers, but I can give you some advice. 1. When you are thinking about your plot, make sure you keep your character in mind. If your character is this free-spirited, rebellious child, they're not gonna want to work like a government job. I mean, maybe they do, and they're just trying to break the government down inside out, in which case, good for them, but it might conflict with their personality a little bit, unless you explicitly state that those are their intentions, right? So what you gotta do is you gotta figure out which character fits the story the best, or which story fits the character the best. For me, I tend to go which story fits the character, because I like making characters first, and then I figure out what I'm doing with them. But c'est la vie, baby. It's up to you. And then once you figure it out, okay, this is my character. This is their personality. They are, for example, I'm going to talk about my character, Elena, who I love dearly and truly. Elena is this just bookwormy, cute little girl who's, trying her best to please everyone. But, sometimes she screws up and, she just wants people to like her, but at the same time doesn't care what people think because, she's living her best life, She's a very interesting character, and she's very three-dimensional. I'm just not good at describing her out loud. But basically, if we were to take Elena and I were to shove her in a story that isn't the story that I wrote for her, she might feel weird. She might feel flat. She might not fit. She'll feel stale or fake or forced because that's not her story. If I were to shove Elena in The Wizard of Oz, she probably would not have gone and killed the Wicked Witch. She probably would have ended up just staying with the Munchkins and eating lollipops because she didn't want to bother anybody. I can't 100% say that. I would have to write it out, figure it out first. But she probably would have done all the things Dorothy did because that was Dorothy's personality. She was trying to help people, but in a different way. So, personality is important to a character because it's what drives the story. Understand? If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to let me know in the comments down below because, I don't know if I'm making much sense. Sometimes I ramble and I forget that other people don't know what I mean. So yes, if you have any questions, please drop them. I will answer them either by a comment or I will make a whole video responding to it or combine a bunch of things into one. I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. But yes, that is, I think, everything for today. This is definitely going to be a series where I talk about character, how you build them, how you create them, how you develop them, and how you implement them in a story. For now, I do believe this is where I bid you adieu, so don't forget Cross your T's, dot your I's, and right your wrongs. And that is right. The W-R-I-T-E. Love y'all. Toodaloo.